Hello, 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 and a warm welcome to all of you to our PSAI Talk Show. My name is Pragnya Venigalla, a performance optimization strategist, and I am thrilled to be here as your host for today. We are doing this talk show as part of a PSAI initiative. Now, PSAI, or the Professional Speakers Association of India, is a community dedicated to enhancing professional speaking careers globally. PSAI is a part of the Global Speakers Federation, comprising 17 national speaking associations worldwide. In India, PSAI operates across cities such as Chennai, Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Vadodara, and also has a virtual chapter. This live interactive event is designed to create awareness around high impact speaking topics while offering insights into PSAI's vision, values, and benefits. You can ask questions, learn from experts, and connect with professionals nationwide. So, whether you're watching us on YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever you are, show us some love, drop in your comments, engage, and ask your questions. And we will keep the ball rolling for you. Today, we are exploring the topic of charting your path to becoming a global keynote speaker. As professional speakers, this is a title that many of us aspire to. And today, we will hear from a global keynote speaker herself, a human centric leadership expert who works with senior leadership with over 20 years of corporate experience with work across 4 countries. She has been serving PSAI at various national and chapter roles for more than 5 years and is the current president of PSAI. A dear friend, a partner in crime, and my support system in PSAI. Please welcome on screen Esther Indurkar.
Thank you so much, Pragnya. I love the last 2 bits of it. Supporter and partner in crime. That's what makes us amazing. Thank you for those kind words.
Absolutely. It comes from the heart, and you know that. Esther, it's a privilege for me to have this conversation with you on today's PSAI Talk Show. So, but I have known you for a while now. But what's something about you that people in PSAI don't know?
Honestly, there are some bits of my life which a handful of people in PSAI know. But other than my speaking, other than my work, most of the people do not know that I am into fitness, high altitude trekking, mountain trekkings, and snow treks, and all. Right now, I've picked up a liking for high rocks. So I've just completed one high rocks, and I am booking the next one today for another city. So that's what a lot of our members in PSAI do not know. Yeah, rest everything everybody I think knows.
Amazing. That's amazing. And yes, I've heard your stories from your snow hikes, but I would love to hear more about your high rocks. But that conversation is for another chat sometime.
Definitely, yes.
So today, Esther, I want to explore your journey as a global keynote speaker. And you are a global keynote speaker today. But if we rewind, what did the starting point actually look like for you?
So I ventured into professional speaking about 5.5 years back when I joined PSAI. I stumbled on this community during the pandemic days. And if I think of those days, um, I was, my starting point actually looked like unclear, chaotic, overconfident, because I was training and I was into training and facilitation. I thought this is just another talk. But the bubble just burst open the minute I came in here. So a lot of overwhelm because I didn't know what people here were speaking. It was an entirely new, different world for me. So the overconfident bubble bursted very soon. And then I found myself unclear, chaotic, overwhelmed. And it took me some time to find my ground here.
I can resonate with that so much. I think when we all started, we come with, oh, we can talk. We are good at, expressing ideas. We can control the stage. And then we come here and then we're like, okay, this is another ball game altogether. So I totally know that feeling as well.
Yes,
But
it is. It is like it was. I didn't expect this. It was like, where have I landed? Because it was very uncomfortable to be at an age of 35 plus and be a beginner. It was challenging, to face that.
absolutely. It's like a restart almost. Yeah. But Esther, if you had to look back now, and what is something that you did early in your speaking journey that you would probably not do today?
Uh, I was in a hurry to be a professional speaker. That was my first mistake, which came from my mind. And then I got my first gig on PSAI stage, and I thought that I'm fully ready because it came with a standing ovation. And so I thought, I'm ready now. I will get so much money and so many opportunities. That was a big myth because I took a back seat. I stopped learning because of this feeling that I had that I'm fully ready. And then initially, now when I sit back and think, saying yes to everything, I said yes to every topic. I said yes to everybody who called me to speak or say something. But later on, I realized that it confused me. As a speaker, I was not sure what am I doing, where is the value that is coming, and which area am I impacting. And it also confused the people of whether to choose me as a motivational speaker or mindset or what. So yeah, first I would say, I wouldn't support thinking that you're fully ready, because this is one space where you're continuously learning. Um I know initial years are a little challenging and we say yes, but the sooner you get into finding your own path, and that is always better. And third, um, I do not know enough is what I've picked up in from my early days. So yeah.
Wow, that's insightful for sure. I can totally understand this because we have that overconfidence and that bubble bursts, and we come in here and we think, okay, we can speak, which we just touched upon. And also just knowing that, okay, I still have a lot more to learn, and just being I'm not enough, just being open to learning forever, because it's literally what we're doing, learning forever.
So it is absolutely, it's like you have to learn every day. I even after speaking in so many countries and so many stages, when I recently was in Australia speaking at GSS, I was like, I am just a beginner. And these people are doing, the speakers who had come from across the world. I mean, there is so much to learn. It's not enough. It's a lifelong journey, I feel.
Absolutely. And I think the best place to take this journey is PSAI, isn't it?
The only place, I would say.
Absolutely. And Esther, I want to pick your brain on, much of speaking, professional speaking isn't just speaking. It's not the actual speaking, but it's also about your business, your branding, your relationships. So, how much of it do you think it actually plays a role in?
What I would say is, when we're talking about building the business of speaking, the business, the branding, the product pyramid, our networks, our relationship, that takes us to the stage, Pragnya. That's how I look at it. But when you land on that stage, it is your delivery that is going to get you booked for another gig. And it's a never ending process. So I do not want to give extra weightage to any of the sites because they are interdependent, is what I feel. And so I feel that they are equal. the amount of effort that we put in our delivery, the amount of effort that we put in creating an experience when we are on the stage, the same amount of effort and work needs to be put in your branding, your networks, relations, and you're building the business, because they are interdependent. Maybe you're too visible, right? But when you land up on stage, your audience rejects you. Where do you get the gigs from? Then you restart. And so that's a frustrating process. Maybe you're amazing at the stage, but nobody knows you because you've not built that business. So then that amazing applaud and standing ovation brings you one or two gig, and after that, what do? You again find yourself clueless. And that is why I say it is equal. Both needs equal work.
Yeah, that's very interesting to think about, because not all of us have that kind of a bandwidth to give to everything. So we tend to prioritize one or the other, and then we falter somewhere else, and we keep circling back in loops. And that's why I think this community helps us a lot in trying to figure out where we land.
Yes, it's this place is a reality check because everybody is working in that direction, and nobody's competing. We have enough work. Everybody is specializing in one part of a bigger niche, and creating the impact. So there's so much to learn from each other, and that's what brings in that reality check.
Absolutely. And from PSAI, I have learned that this is not about competing for a piece of the pie, but it's about all of us coming together to grow the pie.
Yes, when the pie feels small, make a bigger pie.
Absolutely. And Esther, how did you start about building your credibility, before the big stages came in for you?
A lot of mistakes, I think. But honestly, I've also owned up. When people, you need mentors in this profession, is what I feel. And you build your credibility first when you're ready to give to the community. That's where you start building your connect. People start trusting you. And then we are also putting in the work in our craft. So when we're putting the work in this craft, people see, and then when you are contributing to the community and connecting with people, it is easy to ask for help. And I have done that every single time, whether in the community from senior members. I have shamelessly asked questions. Whenever I have spoken on stages, I have identified a few people who would give me the critical feedback first. There have been time where I've reached out to senior speakers who've been listening as an audience, and they asked me, "Are you ready for the difficult feedback?" And I said, "Yes, that's exactly what I want." And that has helped me that to build that trust that I'm okay to take that feedback. I'm okay to learn. That somehow has helped people to trust me and build that credibility. And of course, it goes without saying, all this is useless if you're not putting in the work on yourself and on the craft of speaking. So that needs to be worked upon. The minute people hear and they can feel that, yeah, she's creating the experience that she's been, because I joined as a membership chair, I was selling this, the membership and the business of speaking. And if I don't do justice to what I'm speaking or what I'm asking people this community can do, I felt it's useless. So it needs that kind of work that gives you the credibility.
Absolutely. Like almost like practice before you preach kind of a scenario. And of course, while we do all of this, I think we build our own tribe, we build our own, fan following and cheerleaders, and we have so many of them logging in today, and they're all live, they're all sharing love, and we can see these comments keep popping up once in a while. Thank you everyone for engaging. And if you have any questions you would like to ask Esther, please drop them in the chat, either on LinkedIn or YouTube, wherever you're watching us, and we'll pick it up from there. Amazing. And Esther, and this journey is not easy, right? All of us have been there. And you just mentioned it is frustrating. It can get very overwhelming with the million things that we need to focus on. But for you, what's a hard trade-off that you have had to make to grow your speaking career?
Because I'm coming from a training and facilitation background, I would say I think I can sum it to three things that I had to, grow out of. Number one was to accept that there's a lot of work that I still need to do. In spite of the 20 years of work, I still need to work on myself. So that the first was the acceptance, which was difficult, Second, I would say is being okay to say no to the good opportunities, because you want to develop yourself and you want to be known as an expert in one. And so to align that, it is difficult to say no in the initial years, because every opportunity is coming, and to say no because I want to focus and align my niche and the work and impact, that was a hard one for me. And I think it's this pretty same for the new ones also, when they start picking up a defined path. And third, I would say that time. This craft needs a lot of time. It needs a lot of refining. It needs a lot of building yourself and the business. It is those endless alone hours where you're putting in the work. It looks very glamorous from outside when you're on the stage and everybody's clapping and you're doing the good work for 45 minutes of keynote. But it all comes to the quiet hours and the time that you have putting in the work, that makes that stage presence all that magical and charismatic. And sometimes it's frustrating, especially when you have a kid, you have another business to take care of, and the house and other responsibilities. This is one hard one which we have to look at, and that would be time.
Absolutely. And a lot of our members are also working full-time somewhere, and they're building this as a side. So that's even more on their plate, and it is a huge challenge. Yes, I can relate. And I agree. Acceptance is so important for us to actually know what it is, where we are, what we want to do. And that kind of self-growth is what professional speaking brings about first, before we can stand on the big stages. That's beautiful, Esther. Thank you for sharing that. Now, Esther, I know professional speaking. Sorry, go on.
Go ahead, Pragnya.
All right. So we understand it is a different ball game. It is hard. It is challenging. It's going to be lonely at times. That's why we need this community. But this being one ball game, now global stages, that is another one. So what does it really take to move from local speaking to global speaking or global stages?
This answer comes from, it is an extension of my previous answer, and I would say it's a willingness to be uncomfortable in rooms where nobody knows you, because I've had times, like for example, my last visit was in Nigeria, and my keynote was on the last day. This was a 4-day. And for the first 3 days, I looked like an alien, because everybody was different. They had friends there. I was alone. But the willingness to be uncomfortable in the rooms, trusting the fact that the work that you have put in, when it comes on the stage, all of this will change. That uncomfortable, embracing that uncomfort, then embracing the uncomfort of lonely hours of practice, embracing the uncomfort of being rejected many times when your proposals are not accepted. Instead of giving up, probably accepting that. So those are some of the things. It's more about embracing the uncomfortable and still growing through it. That is one thing that actually takes you to places, is what has been my experience.
Amazing. And that's the hard work, isn't it? Just embracing that uncertainty and just embracing that awkwardness. And we always get a lot of questions about this. So today also in our audience, we have some people who have popped up some questions. So can we see one of the audience questions so we can answer that, Esther? Okay, so we have a question from Manish Kumar. He says, I have just started as L&D community. Is there any SOP for public speaking?
I am not very sure, Manish, about public speaking because we are professional speakers. I say that with pride and
Absolutely.
not with arrogance. Yeah. But it's not one rule fits all. I think speaking is all about creating the experience, unique experience for your listeners, and bringing your own uniqueness. There may be 5 competencies, there may be 8 competencies, there may be 10 competencies that you can fulfill to be a speaker. However, when it comes to creating the experience and impact, it depends on what is the kind of audience that you're catering to, and second, your uniqueness. That's where the authentic speaker connects the best. That's what we talk about. There is, according to me, I don't think there is a set SOP. You evolve in your niche, you keep growing, you be ready to evolve, keep learning, and you find your uniqueness being accepted in different crowds. That is what I would say, Manish. Thank you for
Absolutely.
the question.
Be it public speaking or professional speaking, it is our self awareness and growth that matters a lot. And related to that, Esther, we have another question from Jasmine in the chat. She's asking that you mentioned that you took critical feedback. Can you give one example of such feedback and how you worked on it?
Yes, I remember a lot of those feedbacks, Jasmine. Thank you for that question. My so I usually, what I do is when I go on international stages, I find few pieces of paper and pen and give it to the people from whom I would like to take feedback, and I have some of them framed and kept for me. One of the example was when I was speaking in Malaysia at MAPS. Amazing talk, but I had given that time, the GSF president was Martin Leshkolnik, and I had given him, I had requested him to give me a feed forward for my talk. And one of the feedback which he gave me was that my starting was very long. I mean, I took a lot of time to build the context. By then, my audience would have left me halfway, and I would have disengaged with them. And that really worked so well for me in the next keynotes. In fact, in my mentoring, which I do right now, I have also spoken to my mentees about it, that your build up should not be so long that audience starts feeling it's going nowhere. So that really helped me to script the journey in a way that it is well connected but continuous, and I don't lose my audience engagement halfway. So that was one of the examples.
Well, that's amazing. And that's so important for us to actually see at what point the audience lost their interest in your speech or at what point they actually resonated more. That helps us refine our craft a lot more. Amazing.
Right.
And Esther, do global audiences expect something fundamentally different from us as speakers?
I wouldn't say fundamentally different, Pragnya, but what I would say is they definitely need sharper content. Um, that's what has been my observation. A lot of audience, these are expert people, they are well read, they know the topic. If they are going to different countries and listening and attending, that means they have a good exposure. And that's why I think they don't want anything fundamentally different. The reason why I say that is, at the end of it, everybody is human. We all connect to that emotional connection, we all connect to those stories. That stays common. But bringing relevance is something based on your audience makes a lot of difference. And to be a little more sharper in your content, it cannot be one script fits all. So that is one thing which I have realized in my experience works.
Absolutely. We need to tailor our message, tailor our delivery based on the audience at all times.
Yes.
Amazing. But is there any one mistake that you see speakers make when they are trying to go global too early?
I wouldn't say a mistake, because I've done that too. And it's not a mistake, but the minute we have those big stage, we try to portray ourselves as global. Instead of being more grounded, instead of being more relevant globally. So cut the accent, be grounded, be yourself. Takes in a lot of effort to bring in that artificial accent, and trying to show that, oh, I am really global. Be yourself. The simpler you are, that's where your authority lies, is how my experience has been. If your content does not travel, you will also not travel globally. If your impact does not touch your audience, if the experience that you're creating for your listeners doesn't really resonate with you, it won't travel global. So instead of trying to look global, my suggestion has always been, be very relevant to the audience, whether it is in Mumbai, whether it is in my city, whether it is anywhere across the globe. Be relevant to your audience. That works.
Amazing. And how much of your speech do you actually tailor to your audience? So is it like you have yours, you of course have a message, you have your structure, you have the way you deliver it, but how much of it is also market driven?
I would say the basic framework or the structure, pretty much because of my niche, stays the same, but all my hooks, all my examples, all my facts changes based on my audience. For example, if I am using an example of family gathering, it is more relevant for an emotional connect. It is more relevant in India, where we get together in family get-togethers and marriage and function. But for another country, it is not very relevant. So the basic framework usually stays pretty much the same, unless and until the objective has changed. But my analogies, but my examples, the hooks that I use, all of it mostly change. It changes based on the audience. So that part is very, very flexible.
Nice. That's good to know. I'm seeing a lot of love for what we're discussing today on the chats. There's a lot of questions here. A lot of people asking us, how do we, learn more about this? How do we get involved? How can we, get more from PSAI? We'll address all of that. But for all of those who are listening, join PSAI if you're not a member, and you will know how to do all of this.
100%. That's the only solution.
Exactly. And I see a comment from Suresh. He's asking, what do you mean by sharper content, Esther?
So when I say sharper content, Suresh, I mean it is more relevant to the time. It is current. It is very, very updated. It is very relevant to the culture to which you're speaking to, the kind of people that you're speaking to. So it needs to be sharp in terms of the examples that you're using. Is it very relevant in the current time? The data that you're using, we have to be well read. We have to do that research, because your audience is aware of the facts. And so the sharper and the more updated it is, the better. It gives you authority. That's what I mean with sharper.
Amazing. And we touched upon this a bit earlier today, and I saw some relevant questions on this in the chat as well about what role does PSAI actually have in your journey, Esther?
I think this answer everybody knows. PSAI has given me this career. PSAI has been the only place from where I started my professional speaking journey. And why? Not because it is the only place where we talk about professional speaking in India, but also because here we have the like-minded people who are also working on the similar industry, who are also putting in. And I think proximity is power, and PSI gives you that proximity, not just from the Indian speakers, but globally from 17 associations. We have access to international speakers from 17 countries. The best of the best speakers whom you would reach out to them and take 6 months to reach, we get them in our masterclass. How easy is that? PSAI is doing close to 150 to 180 events in a year. That is a lot. In case we make sense of it and we start utilizing it, it suddenly raises our standards because we are in the proximity of the best, and we have access to the best of the best from 17 countries. That is a lot in case we want to make the most of it and build our career from it. And also, for me, PSAI has shown me what's possible. There is endless opportunity, endless possibilities, only if you are ready to put in the work and be ready to mold yourself, and be ready to accept that there's a lot of work that needs to be done on ourselves to create that place on global stages. And I feel just being in this very place has changed my trajectory. I came in as a trainer and a facilitator, but now I'm known as a speaker. It's only because of PSAI. So for me, it's all PSAI. I do not know any other community. This has what has given me every visibility that has come after pandemic is PSAI for me.
Absolutely. And we have seen you grow in PSAI in your leadership journey, in your path. And this question popped up earlier as well on our screen. So could you also share how your contributions and volunteering at PSAI have helped you in this career?
From a lot of senior members, initially when I joined PSAI, I was very quiet for the first 6 months, to be very honest, because it was too overwhelming. It was an entirely new place for me. I didn't know this business. I thought I took a membership by mistake because there was so much happening and everybody from every other chapter was participating and doing stuff. And then the very first step that I took hesitatingly was to participate in open mic. Open mic, for everybody who's listening, is one of the speaking opportunities which helps our members to hone their professional speaking skills. So I participated in that and it went pretty good. However, when I participated in that, the seniors saw me. And that's where somebody recommended my name, that ask her if she would like to do the panel discussion, ask her if she wants to do this. And every single time when I said yes, it was a growing opportunity. It was an opportunity for me to grow, learn more, and make my space in this community. And slowly, every single day, I was accepted in spite of the fact that I was very new in the business. PSAI is one community which accepts you also very soon and is ready to help you, not just from my chapter, but across the 7 chapters. And that really helped me. Running a community, fulfilling your responsibilities voluntarily is not easy, because many a times it feels like you're giving too much. But when I gave too much to the community, it came back many folds. That's what has been my experience. It gave me opportunities to speak to a lot of people, not from this association, but across different associations. And that started expanding me as a person and also my work. And then it was no stopping. So I've been here.
Absolutely. And I can second that as well. I think PSAI shows us what is possible. And just saying yes to, be it hosting talks or just giving your own talks or whatever speaking opportunities come up, and the mentoring and the guidance and all the, they say the people you surround with are the kind of people you become. I think that's the synergy of this entire community.
I 100% agree to it. And in that process, you will also make some amazing friends, some lifelong friends who are there to back you. who will be there to help you, support you. And that's the beautiful thing when we start contributing and participating and showing up for the community. That has happened to me, that has happened to a lot of us in the community. And that's the beautiful part of it, I feel.
Absolutely. And to me as well. So yeah, I can totally understand. So, Esther, how can then a member who has joined us, okay, make the most of this community and not just be a passive member? Yes, we have all these master classes. We have over 150 events happening every year. But how can someone not get overwhelmed in this community and actually slowly start seeing the benefits?
I would say don't just attend the events, start participating. I know that each one of us who join this community, we come with massive experience. We have expertise in our topic, but the community that we come in, which is PSAI, don't hesitate to do the smaller stuff like hosting an event, like getting a creative done, because every small thing is going to, there are people in the community who are watching our contribution, our participation, and opportunities keep multiplying the minute you start showing up and show that interest to contribute to the community. So don't just attend and make notes, but start being visible, start participating, whether it is moderating. It may feel very small for somebody who's doing 30 years of training and facilitation, but it begins there, here in this community, because it gives you visibility. Ask questions. This is an entirely different profession. It is very different from our corporate jobs. It is very different from the trainings and sessions and all that we take in corporates. It is very different. Ask questions and you will be surprised that all the questions are respectfully answered. So don't fear that you would be laughed at, or does that sound silly, because all of us began there. All of us had the silly questions right in the beginning. When you are participating in open mics, look for that feed forward. If you even start accepting one or two of the feed forward which the mentors give, you will start growing as a speaker. And collaborate openly, I would say. Talk to now we are people who are divided in 7 chapters under PSAI. That means we all are PSAI members. I always tell everybody, take pride. A lot of people have heard me saying this, that take pride in your chapter, help it grow, but don't stop at that, because there is immense knowledge, immense experience across the 7 chapters. And now with our 7 chapter virtual chapter, we have global learning also, which is coming into the community from international members. So do not hesitate to collaborate. Maybe once a week, pick one name, connect with them over a coffee for 30 minutes and talk. Just talk, not with an intention to take something away or not with an intention to sell your product, but build that connection. Trust me, that's exactly what works more. And show up consistently. Even if you're not able to fulfill a responsibility, still show up and say, I can't do it, can I find somebody else to fulfill the responsibility? Your visibility inside the community, I feel, is going to build the credibility outside. And we have some amazing members who have some great experience. That's what is going to build your credibility outside. So to all the new members, start from there, start participating.
That's amazing. And yes, the community, the network that this community brings is simply insane. We just don't see how much we can tap into it as soon as we join. So yes, over the years, we learn to see who is connected to whom, and you can always find a connection in any company, anywhere in the globe. If you need some, connect, somebody in the community can actually help you get there. So that's amazing to actually have that rapport and that connection built. And it opens up so many doors for you internationally.
100%. I mean, like, although PSAI is not a speaking bureau, we don't bring opportunities directly, but because you are visible, because you are connected to the members, you will see that each of us is referring somebody or the other. We are collaborating with each other. Some new initiative is coming up, which is on our personal front, and all that is happening. And builds you as a person. Your business and your identity gets built, your brand gets built. So it's all about participating here.
Absolutely. And in the chat, Esther, Vibhuti has a great question. Now, PSAI does open doors for us to go international, right? But what is the big difference you have experienced in professional speakers from India and from other parts of the world?
I would say, I'm sorry if you feel bad about this, Vibhuti, but I'm not telling it to you, but to all of us. I think we are very stagnant in our ways of thinking. My experience has been the biggest of the speakers that I have met, they're very creative. They are very open to experiment and fail. We are very hesitant to fail. And that keeps us being stuck at a similar kind of talk, and we then struggle, and then we say we are not getting opportunities. But when I have interacted with speakers across the globe, what I have seen is they're very open to discuss what could be done better. They are very creative, we're ready to experiment and take insights and bring that fun element to your talks, bring that experience. We have to start doing that. And that's where the uncomfortable aspect, which I was talking about, also plays a major role. That we have to let go of one set way of speaking. We should be okay to experiment, try something new, work on yourself, practice that, and then start seeing how does it work. They are not scared to fail. They put in the work. That's what I have seen. But they are not very worried to fail. They pick it up as a learning. That has been my experience, whatever I've seen.
Nice. I thought it was only me that I was afraid to fail sometimes, but
I
it's
think
like,
all of us. I think I have been there many a times. I'm like, it is like a war in my head. That how will it look? Why will it look like this? What will they think? We are always in that spiral. I think we need to outgrow that.
yeah, absolutely. And like you said, PSAI is the place for us to do it. There's no other such supportive community that even I know of that actually pushes you so much in this front. Is there another question related to speaking in general? Okay, so how is the definition of a great speaker changing today, according to you?
I think I can tell you from my 5 years experience. Earlier, when I looked for a speaker, it was only motivational. But now I feel that your audience is expecting results. They are expecting value. They are expecting a shift. In the 5 years, the world has changed drastically, and that is why the speaker needs to add that value and bring that shift and transformation in your audience. So it is no more just motivation, but it should also come with how can they transform themselves, how can they shift from where they are to the next level. So that has I think evolved over time.
Absolutely. It's more about the impact and the outcomes rather than just motivating people to go get it.
Yes, yeah.
And Esther, after today's conversation, if someone here wants to become a global keynote speaker, then what is the first real step they should take after this session?
You know my answer. Tell me what my answer is.
PSAI.
Yes. The very first step, join PSAI. Can't say this. Yeah, that's the very first step. Not because I'm representing PSAI, but also because there won't be any other PSAI in India. This is the only place that talks about professional speaking. This is the only place that understands the business of professional speaking better than anybody. And it brings in a support system. So first, join PSAI. Second, start participating. Have patience. You will not become a professional speaker in 1 year. No, if that is the dream, please don't join PSAI. You will be disappointed, because first year you will only be finding space, participating, and understanding what what is actually this entire professional speaking all about. And if you're lucky, like some of our new members have been, you will also get international opportunities. Some of our new members have done that because right from the beginning they joined and they started participating, contributing, and made ways. So it has changed for me. It took me more than 3.5 years to get my first speaking, but now the members are doing pretty great, the new members also. But you will have to start participating, showing up, put in the work. If you think that you do not have time, it is going to take you much longer, because PSI is a community. You can make of it how much you want to make out of it. We don't push anybody to do anything, and it is not mandatory. It's a self-paced journey which you create. There are a lot of opportunities to learn, a lot of opportunities to connect with people, network with them, but it all depends on the people who join here. So it would always be dependent on you, but starts from joining PSAI.
Absolutely. And Esther, as much as I'm loving this conversation, no conversation of ours is ever complete unless I put you on spot. Okay. So you ready for some rapid fire questions? No thinking, quick answers.
I will try to do justice to this.
I'm sure you've been put in this position before, so you're going to ace it. All right, ready?
Yes.
Okay. So one word to describe a true global speaker.
Authentic.
Nice. Stage or screen?
Stage, always stage.
I knew that answer. Scripted or spontaneous?
I would say a balance of it. You need the spontaneity. Can I elaborate, or
Yeah.
just balance? Okay. So you need the spontaneity because there are a lot of things which are unsure when you are on that stage. The disturbance, the audience, what could go wrong, the technical glitches. So spontaneity is very, very important. Also, when you're connecting with the audience, how would they react based on that? However, you need a guiding script because you know your audience, who would be there. So that is also important. Needs a balance.
It's a balance. Amazing. Okay, I think the answer for this question will also be a balance. But apart from balance, what would be the answer for a message or performance?
Experience.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, I know the answer to this one. Heels or sneakers on stage?
You can give the answer for me.
Big, long stiletto heels for
Always
Esther.
heels, yes. And contrast colors. Yeah.
Lovely. All right, the first paid gig or your biggest stage, which felt better?
My first stage on PSAI for PSAI. That was unforgettable. I am so very grateful for it. Nothing can beat that. Because I got that stage after getting rejected the very first year of applying, and then I had put in the work. And also, it was about my journey of speaking. So, nothing beats that.
Nice. Okay, one habit that changed your speaking career?
The long hours of practice.
Nice. A speaker you admire?
Oh, there are so many. Starting from PSAI itself, if I would say, I love the authority which Praveen Shekhar brings in. I love the clarity which Vinay brings in. Trudy is my favorite. The kind of play that she brings on stage, I'm still trying to understand that. So Trudy is one that I really, really look up to. She's amazing, and I've met her so many times. Amazing human being. That's exactly what sums up a real speaker: the authentic, the real, grounded, but amazing in her craft. So I really look up to her.
Yeah. I saw Trudy at PSS earlier this year and she was fabulous. So I know that feeling of where you're coming from. Love that. Okay, Esther, your pre-stage ritual in one word.
I do not practice my script a couple of hours before my talk, and I'm fully with the audience. Also, when I'm mic'd up, before I go on the stage, before when the other speaker is already talking, I am talking to the technical guy who's mic'd me. I am humming. I am listening. I'm trying to be in that moment. So that is the time when I'm preparing myself that I will goof up like a boss even if it doesn't go my way. So that's why I'm in the moment. That's what I do.
Lovely. I like the humming. I should try that sometime. Nice. Esther, what do you think is the most overused word in speeches?
I am not very sure, but a lot of people say you
Hmm.
know. Every after every sentence, it's like you know, and I'm like, no, they do not know. That's why they're listening to you.
Lovely. Okay, what is the toughest audience you have faced? And don't say PSAI.
Oh no, PSAI has been my greatest support when it comes to speaking. Not really toughest audience. I didn't have a tough audience so far because even in my mentoring, I say that I practice for what could go wrong more than my script, and so I am ready for that. However, the most one of my audience where I was very nervous was my last talk in Nigeria because it had some 4,000 HR professionals from Africa, and uh, they were highly intelligent. I was in awe of the ladies who were present there. They were so intelligent that at some points I felt small, and so I was not sure uh, how would my talk be. So the 3 days were. I was very nervous because the intelligence, the way they carried themselves with confidence, um, was amazing.
Amazing. That sounds like a fun experience. So,
Yes, that was a fun experience. We'll keep it for
yes,
for outside this because it had so many experiences.
I'm sure. Bharti says that's the most irritating phrase you know to use as a speaker and to listen repeatedly as an audience. Yes, you know that, Bharti.
Yes, you know, Bharti, you know it well.
You know it, yeah. Okay, Esther, if you were not speaking, what would you be doing?
I would be trekking, or yeah, I would be trekking or doing something in the gym. Or
Nice.
else, one thing that I do is I quietly sit in one corner of the room and listen to the banter which my son is having in the other room. I love to do listen to that.
Lovely. And you have an invitation from Dorji to visit and hike the mountains in Bhutan.
Thank you, Doji. Yes, for sure.
Lovely. Okay, Esther, one word your audience would use for you.
I hope it is a nice word. That's it.
Okay, that was the next question.
No,
One word you want them to use for you.
yes, yes. Uh, but what I have heard from a lot of my audience is that they felt it is real. And that's what I work on. Whenever I script my keynotes, I try to make it very real and very simple. No jargons, not too much of the content which is technical, but very simple and very relevant. So I think they know me for that.
Amazing. And is that what you would want them to use for you as well?
I I pray, I hope. Yes.
Amazing. That is something we can watch for, that you are very real and that you've shown us about this conversation by sharing your experiences and your learnings throughout this journey. So thank you, Esther, for being real.
Thank you, Pragnya.
So final question from me now. Complete this sentence, yeah? So a global keynote speaker is someone who, fill in the blanks.
Uh, who is authentic yet powerful.
Nice. That's wow.
I think.
I'm just going to be like, wow. That was
Yeah,
very mind
sometimes,
blowing.
yes, sometimes our authenticity is taken for granted. That's where I always say that you have to build that authority on your topic, even though when you're authentic, real, grounded, simple, but still your audience is there to learn from you. That's where you create the authority on your topic.
Amazing. So we have one question from Sonali in the chat. So how do you actually anticipate or calculate what could go wrong? For each speech, it will be different. So what are the parameters if you could share?
Uh, I usually, what is my experience is that there is the doors from which, if you're sitting in the main hall, there would be some entrance doors from which there is a lot of movement. So say suppose if my keynote is after a tea break, I know that there will be a lot of movement from the doors because some people are still settling down when my introduction is going on. So that is one. What would happen when this is from my experience, what would happen if uh, electricity goes off? How would you react? Should you just shrink or you still hold yourself powerful on the stage? Comes with practice. I have practiced that. My speech in Malaysia, it was a 5-star place. The 3 days were amazing, but only in my talk electricity had gone.
Oh,
Yeah, it was just for 30 seconds, but the electricity went. But in that is the moment when your audience sees you. Did you shrink or you still stood strong on that stage? That comes with practice. So the distractions, the movement, uh, even when I craft my speech. So, a lot of times in our talks, we ask questions to the audience. And what if they do not give you the answer that you are expecting? Many a times we are expecting an answer because based on that answer, our rest of the script is built. But what if the answer does not come the way you want? How would you react to? How would you still bring them back to your script? So these are some of the things. It has come out of experience, and it has. So it is that experience. I also practice my speech with distraction and noise, so that. So that if there is a distraction, I still know that I can still think on my speech and craft. So that's these are some of the things.
amazing. I love that. I love the practice with distraction and noise. It's like you're preparing for the worst, but you know that you're going to do it fine no matter what.
Yes, and also for my mentees who are listening, they know the crazy five. It's our secret, the crazy five action, which sets us free on this stage. So I won't tell more about that because
Yes.
that's for my master.
Yeah, we call your secrets here, but thank you for being so real. Thank you for sharing your experiences, Esther. This was such a pleasure to hear you today and to host this conversation. I didn't feel like we were on a PSAI talk show, but we were just having our regular conversation as always. And that's what
Yes.
keeps it real.
Thank you, Pragnya. Thank you for keeping it real. I would like to tell everybody that when the education team said that would you come and speak, and I asked who's going to be host, and they said Pragnya. I said okay, then any date is fine whenever she is available because that's the connection we have built. We've always spoken and appreciated each other, worked with each other. In spite of the fact that Pragnya stays in Dubai, the distance doesn't feel too much. We are still connected, and that's the beauty of the community. Pragnya, thank you so much for coming and making this easy for me also. So thank you. It was amazing talking to you.
Thank you to PSAI for this opportunity and to all of you who have been listening and constantly engaging on the chats and asking your questions. It has been such a treat just reading your messages and having all your affirmations coming up here. Thank you once again for joining in. Please follow our social media handles and get to know more about PSAI if you are not a member yet. If you are a member, you know where to find us in our next masterclass. All right. Thank you, everyone. Signing off for this time. Stay tuned for more.
Thank you very much, everyone.